Hello everyone and welcome to the assembly for this week. A few things to say well done for, first of all. Well done to all of the children involved in singing the song I'm Still Standing, which was recorded together by Mr. Sullivan and shared with all of the staff. I think everyone in school has probably now heard it. It was really wonderful. I listened to it in my office and it made me feel really happy. So thank you to those children for their wonderful singing. Random acts of kindness was something that I spoke to you about during our last assembly, and we talked about how these random acts of kindness can make someone else feel happy and make you feel happy about yourself. So I have some to share with you. So in year 5, children who've been showing random acts of kindness, Jake was entertaining the nursery children in breakfast club. Thank you, Jake. Alfie held a door open for Mrs. Carr. Ida shared her umbrella when it was raining. Thank you, Ida. Daisy has been checking in on her friends. Belle has been cheering Grace up. Charlotte F complimented a teacher on her appearance. And Olivia and Bo made some special cards for the rest of the year group telling them when they'd been kind. You have been kind cards. Thank you, girls. And in year 2, Katie has been holding doors open for teachers, and she picked something up that someone had dropped and they hadn't noticed. That was really kind. Harley has been sending thank you notes to teachers. Logan has been giving colouring sheets to teachers. And Warren gave Miss Dando a colouring after his phonics work, so well done, Warren. Charlie helped a friend to put their shoe back on. That's a really good friend. And Georgia gave her teacher a picture. And Malachi in year 5 made me a card. So I actually was on the receiving end of a random act of kindness. And it says, to Mrs. Milner, you make people laugh. And that made me really happy. Okay, so thank you, Malachi. And then when I was on the gate the other morning, this really cheered me up. This is from Ruby in year 4. And she said this was her random act of kindness to me. It says, be kind. And it says, we are all different. We should be happy and kind. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. Really important words, and that is a lovely picture. Thank you, Ruby. That's been keeping me really happy in my office these past few days. So well done to everyone, even if it hasn't been mentioned today by me. Well done to everyone who did something kind for someone else. Okay, we're now going to move on to our assembly for today. This week we've moved into December, which is called Advent. This period of the year is called Advent. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Advent. We're going to look at the PowerPoint, and then I'm going to give you a task to do this week, okay? So what is Advent? So Advent is the start of the Christian year. So it's a Christian festival and celebration. So not everybody celebrates Advent. It's a Christian religious festival. It's a time for Christians to prepare for celebrating the birth of Jesus, because Christians believe that Jesus was born on Christmas Day, and that's why we celebrate Christmas. And it's a time for Christians to look forward to a time when Jesus will come again. The word Advent comes from a very old word, adventus, which means the arrival of something or someone important. When is Advent? Advent is the 4 weeks before Christmas. It starts on the nearest Sunday to November the 30th. So that would have been last Sunday, which this year was the 29th of November. It lasts until midnight on Christmas Eve. Advent is a time for Christians to enjoy time with their families and friends. It began in Germany over 250 years ago. How is Advent celebrated? There's an Advent wreath, and you might see one of these if you visit a church, and they display an Advent crown or wreath during Advent, and you can see the candles on there as well. It's a circle of evergreen branches, so the leaves here are evergreen plants, which means that they stay green all year round no matter what the weather is. There are 4 candles standing in the circle, and the centre has a 5th candle. During Advent, in some churches, there are no flowers, just the Advent wreaths. The circle of evergreen branches is a reminder that God does not change, so he always stays the same. And the candle reminds Christians of the light of God that they believe in. A new candle is lit each Sunday during Advent until all 4 candles are burning. Each candle has a different meaning. Hope, peace, joy and love. So these are the 4 things that Christians like to think about in Advent as we're waiting for Christmas. The final candle is lit on Christmas Day, which celebrates the birth of Jesus. Here's a Christingle. You may have seen one of these before. Children often have fun making Christingles during Advent. The cocktail sticks represent the 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. The candle reminds Christians of Jesus, light of the world. The orange represents the world, and it's the same shape, isn't it, as the earth. The red ribbon is a reminder that Jesus has died, because of course Jesus died, and that's what Christians think about at Easter time. And the sweets or dried fruit represent all of God's creation, so everything wonderful on our earth. Christingle means Christ's light. Advent calendars, this is something you might have started to do at home this week. You might have started to open an Advent calendar. They start on the 1st of December and count down to Christmas Eve. Each door is opened and shows a Christmas picture usually. Some have a chocolate treat. Advent around the world. So in Germany, at Advent, you need to check your shoes before putting them on. On the 6th of December, St. Nicholas comes and puts sweets in children's shoes during the night. So that's a tradition they have in Germany. Just have a talk to your partner now, or someone next to you. Who is St. Nicholas? So what other names do we have for St. Nicholas around the world? Okay, see if you know that. Now in Denmark, families burn calendar candles. The candle is burnt a little bit each night until it's finished on Christmas Eve. So each night, so they'd have to burn enough to leave some, so 24 nights in December and a couple more from the start of Advent to make sure that the candle finishes on Christmas Eve in time for Christmas. In Finland, families have ice or snow lanterns burning in their gardens. That sounds lovely. Okay, that's the end of our PowerPoint on Advent, but another thing that can happen during Advent is an Advent promise. And it's a time when we're waiting for something to happen and we're thinking about hope, peace, love and joy, and a time when we can think about doing things for others. So I want you to have a think today of a promise that you're going to make about something small that you can do at school. So for someone at school, so it might be for a teacher, it might be for a friend, it might be something to do with resources in your classroom. So it shouldn't interrupt your learning, it should help your learning or somebody else's learning. So I want you to have a think of something you can do in the next week that's going to be your Advent promise. So it might be the same thing every day, it might be that you're going to always play with the same friend, or if you see someone upset, you're going to go over and ask them if they want some help. You're going to always hold the doors for teachers. Have a think what your promise is going to be and try and stick to it. I have sent your teachers a template if they would like you to write your Advent promises, but that doesn't matter if you don't write it, you can still keep it. And then I want teachers to send me names of 2 children from each classes who've kept their promise well over the course of the week, and we'll share some of those next week. Okay, so we'll close our eyes now. Have a little think about the promise that we're going to make. Think about what you're going to do at school, okay, to make life better for everybody. And if you would like to pray now, we're going to put our hands together and close our eyes and say Amen at the end. You don't have to pray. And remember, Advent that we're thinking about today is a Christian festival, so it's not what everybody believes, but we're learning about that today. We're just thinking about it. And so we'll say, Dear God, thank you for Advent and all of the exciting things that happen at this time of year. Help us to remember to spend quality time with our families and to make promises to be a good person during this time and always. Amen. Right, well done for listening nicely, everybody. I look forward to seeing your promises and how well you've kept them. See you next week.